Hirsh Diamant. I teach at the Evergreen State University in Olympia, Washington. Washington State is on the west side, west coast of United States. And Olympia is just south of Seattle. My university is interdisciplinary, and whatever I teach, if I teach philosophy or arts or education or Silk Road studies, I try to bring my love and interest of traditional Chinese culture and Taoism. And I'll talk today about Zodiac and celebration of Lunar New Year as a way to organize the curriculum. So you heard the title of my talk, and curriculum means a teaching, teaching from kindergarten to college, teaching oneself and teaching the others. So this is what we'll be talking today about. We'll be talking about why is it important to retell ancient stories and cite Chu Yuan, the ancient poet, and his thoughts about retelling the stories. And we'll talk mostly about Chinese Zodiac and how to use Chinese Zodiac in the curriculum. And specifically, I will focus on the last 2 years and the coming year. I'll be talking about the year of the mouse and talk about the film we made for that, and talk about the social experiment with Facebook group that we did for the year of the ox, and talk about the coming year, the year of the tiger. So, Chu Yuan lived over 2,000 years ago. And in Tianwen, in his Questions to Heaven, he starts it by saying, who can tell the stories of ancient beginnings? So if Chu Yuan is ancient for us, what is ancient to Chu Yuan? And why Chu Yuan thinks that it's important to go back to the ancient stories to retell them? So that's really, in a way, could be a thesis or the main thrust of my talk today, is that sages and teachers from Chu Yuan and Confucius and up to the present day talk about the importance of going back to understand the future. And it's in the language itself, right? In Chinese, Hou Tian means the future, but Hou is the past. So Qian is in front of us, but it's really in the back. So even in English, we say, to see the future. Well, how can you see the future? The future is not there yet to see. So the Zodiac was a mnemonic device invented by the Yellow Emperor to help people to understand time, to understand the cyclical nature of time. And, China is a big country with many people, many nationalities. And so different ethnic groups have different customs associated with Lunar New Year, the Spring Festival. This is really kind of the most important festival of the year, is the festival of cosmic renewal. But in all, I would say probably in all ethnic groups, there is this tradition that on one of the days of the Lunar New Year, Lunar New Year is celebrated for a long time, for 2 weeks. And for each day, there is something specific. But for one of the days, usually the third day, you are not supposed to set up mouse traps, and you need to go to bed early and turn off the lights, not to disturb the mice, because the mice are getting married. So we use this traditional folktale in my class. I worked with students. This traditional folktale nursery rhyme about how the mouse bride wants to get married. And like in all nursery rhymes and folktales, it's an epic story. So, 大红喜子墙上挂，老鼠女儿要出嫁. And, she wants to get married. And as a good daughter, she goes and asks her father and mother, like, who should I get married to? Now, they're both kind of elderly. They're both Lao Hu too, they're not quite there. So they're don't know, like coming and going, and they think, well, who would be the best? And so they go to ask the sun because the sun is the greatest. And so they ask the sun. Many of you know the story, how they're choosing the best bridegroom, and the son says, well, I'm very honored, but I'm not the best because the cloud obstructs me. So the cloud is the best. So they go to cloud. Cloud says, well, I'm honored, but I'm not the best because the wind moves me. And go to the wind and say, well, would you do us an honor and be the bridegroom? And the wind said, very honored, but the wall is stronger than I am because the wall stops me. So they go to the wall, and the wall says, well, I'm really would be delighted, but a mouse is stronger than I am. And so then with students, we changed the ending of the story because we wanted to bring the story to current time. And so the mouse that lives in the city is the city mouse, but the mouse bride is a country mouse. And country mice and city mice, as you know, they don't get along. And so when parents hear about it, they will not agree to that, by no means. And all the relatives, get into a big fight. And pretty soon it's like, it's a big disaster. It's war and bombs and you name it. And we developed a script. So we then developed a script for a musical, for a puppet play of a mouse bride's wedding, and then made a film about making of the puppet play. Now, I will not show you the film because Zoom doesn't stream media well, but the film is a short film. It's on YouTube, so if you're interested, you can search and find it easily. But in the film, so it was a shadow puppet play, but because we worked with scale, we had live actors. This is the mouse bride thinking about getting married, and puppets. And our work is always, we're trying to get students involved in the community, kind of bridge this gap between theory and practice. So students went and worked in elementary schools, worked with children in 3rd and 4th grade, retelling them the story. And here you see the images of children depicting this battle, this fight between city mice and country mice. And then we made an animated film from the children's drawings. As I said, it's important for us to create these connections with the community. So for the fight between city mice and country mice, I asked my Wushu Kung Fu teacher and asked students in his martial arts school to come to train my students in stick fighting so that we could have, a big battle between city mice and country mice. And then, the story ends well because mice realize that all mice are mice, doesn't matter city mice or country mice. And so this is students rehearsing the final dance, the wedding. The story ends with the wedding, and there is a wedding dance that the students perform. So the year of the mouse was the year, before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit and we went on Zoom, so that we knew that we cannot do Lunar New Year celebration, Spring Festival celebration in person. And we were thinking how to develop it digitally, and developed this experiment, created a Facebook group, Evergreen Lunar New Year. And, it was very successful, it was very interesting. About 100 people joined through different ways. And people could post on Facebook images, stories, thoughts, their own art about the cosmic archetype of the bull that was coming. Now, I also worked with Chinese students who were part of it, and I asked them to look for folktales and nursery rhymes. And one of the gems of this process was this little known nursery rhyme about New Lang Zhenyu. Analyzing it, we see that probably there are parts here taken from different poems from different times and different stories. Again, the beginning, the whole nursery rhyme is so beautiful, so epic. Xing shui zong, lang tian shang, xin he chu chu shang jing guang. So this golden light in all directions. And some of the lines are so beautiful. Of course, you know the story about Nulang Janu, but this story about water, bringing back water into the sky, that water will be welcomed back in the sky above. And it ends with such a delightful line, you know, Nulang and Janu will cry and cry because they're separated. And then, Hong Hua Zai Zai Ni Shen Xia, this red flower to be picked for my beloved. And we developed a script for that. Again, story about how the bull leaves heaven, how once upon a time, the time was not at all, and was the story of the bull and his journey to a karmic call. Now, it was so great to do that. It was so great to be connected with people all around the world, thinking about the incoming archetype. And so now we are preparing for the year of the tiger, and we thought it will continue the Facebook group. And really the hidden agenda of my presentation today is for you to become interested. And if you're interested, to become part of that group, to think about, okay, well, what can you learn about tiger, from the tiger? And, you know, tiger is most powerful, and Durga in Indian mythology is most powerful. So here we have Durga. This is images from the Facebook group. So she is most powerful. She's riding the tiger. And many, many beautiful metaphors about tiger, like in all, probably in all form of Taiji Chuan, there is this movement and phrase of Ba Hu Gui Shan, of embracing tiger as the difficulty, tiger as a danger, and then, you know, you embrace your difficulty, you embrace your tiger, you look into the eyes of the tiger. So that's very beautiful. I don't know, maybe it looks like this, you know, that you embrace a tiger. I don't know how it would look exactly like. But also with that, there are other beautiful and powerful metaphors and images. Sometimes this is hitting the tiger. You know, sometimes the difficulty comes and you need to meet it head on and say, I will not take it. It shall not pass. So this is the movement hitting the tiger. And so other beautiful metaphors of riding the tiger and etc. And all of this, like I never knew about this image. So all of these things come from working with people around the world and thinking about archetypes of the tiger. So as I said in the beginning of my talk, sages say to us that it is important to live with the season. So the zodiac, the 12 hours of the day, the 12 months of the year, the 12-year cycle, or if you take the Wuxing with it, the 60-year cycle, allow us to think about how to be aligned with the time, how to be aligned with the season. And maybe that's the trust of my talk. Thank you for listening. It's so much fun that this conference was organized. And I think that maybe the essence of this conference is also bringing the ancient stories to our time, bringing our understanding to the ancient stories.